Hi, and welcome to episode 51 of Girlfriends Knitting. I'm Carolyn, and I go by Call Shirley on Plurk and Ravelry. And this is
Amy, and I go by Stitchin' Wolf on Ravelry.
and Amy D. Shirley on Gmail
Yes.
and Google Plus. So Amy's here for a reason that we'll talk about at the end of the podcast.
Yes.
But let me get right into the knitting. You gonna play Vanna for me?
Yes, I'll be Vanna.
Okay, so
I'm not as thin as her, but I'll do it.
the first thing is something I had finished last week and mentioned, but I didn't have to show you, which was the Lady Violet dinner gauntlets. And this is Jimmy Bean's wool knit along for Downton Abbey.
See the, if you can see it, can you see the details? See the little heart?
So it's the rosebud lace pattern. I have not blocked them, so the lace at the bottom is supposed to block out, and I have not blocked them. This is knit out of Schaefer yarn in the May West colorway, and I love it. And one of the things I wanted to show you, they're very long. You know, they come almost to my elbow, but the amount of yarn that I had left over, I could make a hat, I could make another set of gloves. I mean, I had a lot left over from this one skein of fingering weight yarn. So, and I loved knitting with this. Again, this Schaefer fingering weight yarn, great, loved knitting with this.
We have to find projects where she doesn't have stuff left over because there's yarn all over my house.
Y'all know that does not bother me in the least.
Everywhere you turn, there's a ball of yarn.
Does not bother me in the least. So that was the first pair of fingerless gloves. Then I've been trying to get some items done for the knit along. And so here is the first item I finished for the knit along. My crisscross cuffies.
Yeah.
So the girlfriend's knitting knit along is going. I decided instead of it going through March 31st, which would be tomorrow, to let it go ahead through to next week, and so it'll end April 1st. So I'll close it Thursday before I record on Friday, and Amy and I will be recording from the Gulf Coast on Friday. Yes. We ought to call Aaron and Amy. We ought to call Darren and Amy from Knitting in Circles and see if they want to meet us for dinner.
I think they ought to be workout gloves.
Yes, that was Amy's thing, that if we got some some heavy felt or something, we could put them
right there
for them
to
be
move it up to about right here, and then you could have it in the fitness. You could use them as workout gloves to keep your hands nice and...
Because they are short. They're a shorter pattern. So this is one of my patterns. I knit this out of Plymouth yarn, Superwash Merino. It's a worsted weight. I don't know the colorway, but it's very true to color on the screen right now. And it's the exact same yarn I used for my For Good hat that Megan wrote of So I Can Knit Zombies. So I had enough from that one skein to make the hat and the crisscross cuffies, and I had just like 20 yarns left over. I mean, it wasn't much left over at all. So it was perfect. So now I have a hat and gloves to match. So I'm very excited about that. And that's all of my finished objects for this week.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to post my finished objects on Ravelry. And again, if you are knitting one of the Girlfriends Knitting designs, post them on Ravelry for the Girlfriends Knitting knit along. Let me show you the prizes. I've talked about them, but I haven't shown them in a while. So one of them is 2 skeins of the yarn that I used to make my abalone sweater. So Amy, if you will show them that. It's out of the Bon Bon colorway. I thought I had I can't find the what's the word I'm looking for? The label. So that you get 2 skeins of this. This is just one, but you get 2 skeins of that. Then our lovely Ginger, who is a free spirit, and she has the Absolute Wonder Etsy shop, made this little bag for y'all. Hello, beautiful. And it is lined inside with a quilted pink lining, and it has her tag in there. It's a wedge bag. I just have it folded. So that is prize number 2. And then prize number 3 are these lime green rubber O-ring stitch markers that would be great for larger size needles. I used them for my Rocky Coast. I bought me a set in pink that I used for my Rocky Coast cardigan. So if you're using a size 10 or size 11, these would be awesome. And they are a rubber O-ring, and so there is no snagging on any of your yarn. So that is prize 3. And the last time I checked, we had about 19 entries into the knit-alongs. I'm super excited. So again, I'm going to close the thread on Thursday. So you still have a week. I knit these cuffies in what? 2 nights? Because I knit one night and one the next.
Yeah, that's about right.
So you still have time to even knit one of these items. They're all the only things that wouldn't be very fast would be the socks.
Right.
But there's 2 baby hats that would be really fast, and then the crisscross cuffies. I love how she's saying, yes, she knows how long it takes because you watch me knit all the time.
All the time, yes.
So she knows exactly how long things would take. All right, so let's talk about my works in progress. There are many works in progress that have gotten no progress this week. So Amy's fisherman sweater is getting very little progress because it's now getting hot in Mississippi. And so she's not going to wear it until probably September or October. So I have all summer to finish her sweater.
And it will take her all summer because I'm on the back burner.
Yes. Mom's skew socks are also on the back burner despite the fact that I have half of a sock left. I have no mojo for those socks. I'm just over them. I also cast on the Getting Down, Partying Up socks that I showed y'all last week. And I love this yarn. I love the colors. The pattern is very fun. It's by Megan of Stockinette Zombies. This was for their Stockinette Zombies birthday. And to be honest, the only reason that I haven't knit on these is because I forgot about them. When we got home from vacation, I had a bag full of my knitting stuff that I brought with me on vacation. As you remember, these were one of the things I had brought with me. It got stuck in that bag and got thrown upstairs in the loft. And so when I was getting stuff organized for today's podcast, I saw them and I went, oh, I forgot about those. So I'm sure they'll see some love this week.
Yes.
But the 2 things I have worked on quite a bit this week are, and I always tend to stop right in the middle of a row so that I can't show it off. My Stripe Steady! So now I've got to find the right side. So here's the right side. And it's upside down. So it goes like this. And again, I stopped in the middle of a row. And I love it. Both of the yarns are Cascade Heritage. In the hand paints is the purple. And then the Cascade Silk is the green. And this is the Stripe Steady pattern by Vera Valimaki. And it's a very easy pattern, easy to memorize, fun to do, all garter stitch. So it's just my potato chip knitting. When I don't want to think, I pull it out. And I'm going to go until I run out of green, and that's how much green I have left. So I'll get 2 or 3 more stripes in. And then I'll block it, and I'm so excited because I ordered me some Inspinity. Inspinity? I don't know how to say it. I'll show y'all next week. They've been shipped. I ordered me some blocking wires. And so I'll be able to block them properly. So I'm excited about that because I've got several shells.
Yes.
On the needles. Then
on the needles.
On the needles.
Yes. Not off the needle.
No. I know I'm off the frame.
What
Because
else
I'm
she got
looking
in there?
for this. That's what I'm looking for. The one in the bag. They're
Yeah.
sitting up here next to me. So, a while back, I had one of the best knitting days ever. I found out I was getting into SSK, and I found out that I had won a prize from Stockinette Zombies, which was Wool Misa in the Puffin Nog colorway. And it's very peacocky to me. It just really looks like a peacock. And I had never knit anything with wool mice before. So this is my first wool mice project. And I just was on a cast-on kick this week. I cast this on, and I literally spent most nights knitting on this. And I am in love with it. It's very, very challenging for me because it's my first major lace project. But if you will sort of hold it up and show them, let me get the details of what this is. Why is it not coming up? Okay, here we go. Well, Amy is doing such a good job of showing y'all. This is the Gale, also known as Night Songs pattern by Moe Lucky, who is Jan Arujo.
Yeah.
And it's trying to load the photos so I can show you a picture. Sorry about this. I thought I had it pulled up. But this reminds me very much of a peacock, the pattern. And it is very lacy. As Amy keeps showing you all, I'm desperately trying to get a picture pulled up. We have peacocks that live down the street from us that we hear a lot. They sound like a woman screaming, don't you think?
Yes.
Okay, so a picture is not happening.
Well, a lot of things are not happening now because we're in a flood.
Yes, that's what's been going on here, is lots and lots and lots of flooding. So again, this is Gale, also known as Night Song. I'll post the information in the Ravelry thread. Out of Wool Mice in the Puffin Nog colorway. And I'm loving it. I can't wait for it to be finished and blocked. I am halfway through this project. I'm on to 8 row repeat, and I'm just finishing repeat number 4. So very excited about that. Last thing to talk about with knitting is the Game of Thrones knit along. So Jimmy Bean's Wool did the Downton Abbey knit along, which was the Lady Violet dinner gauntlets, which I just showed you. And I loved it. Loved it, had fun doing that. Well, the next knit along is Game of Thrones, which we are in love with.
Yes. So much that Carolyn took the test. If you, I don't know.
Yes. Which character are you?
Which character are you? And I'm in love with wolves. And I ended up being a wolf. And Carolyn likes dragons.
I was born the year of the dragon, and
she ended up being a dragon. So, since I do not knit, now I cross stitch, but I do not knit.
Ooh. Oh, you're going to show him the tattoo?
Yes. The Game of Thrones. There's the wolf. There's the dragon. Ain't it neat?
Now, this tattoo is actually self-designed by Amy, and it's not because of Game of Thrones.
No, it's not because of Game of Thrones. It just ended up being a coincidence.
It just happens to match Game of Thrones.
No, but that is my own design. But, yes,
very yin and yang. The wolf with the ice and the moon, and the dragon with the sun and the fire.
Carolyn actually has the same tattoo, but, she can't show it to you. But, mine is very, very colorful. I don't know if you can see. Can you see it?
Yeah, I think they can see it pretty good.
See it? And so it just happened to be that when she took the test, I was a wolf and she was a dragon. But so this is my contribute to the knit along for the Game of Thrones.
For those of you who don't know anything about the Game of Thrones, it's a multi-part book. There's several. I think there's 5 or 6 books. I'm not sure. And HBO made it into a series, and the series follows the books very closely. It is not a for children show. It's very mature audiences only.
I'm going to have to say it would be for even 18 and up.
Yeah, I mean, it's very mature.
I wouldn't allow, I believe that my nephew is very mature for his age, and he's 16, but I wouldn't let him watch it. It shows a lot of graphic.
Yes, it's very, very graphic. As one person pointed out, it starts with incest, and then it goes downhill from there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's. I told Amy that when we first started watching the first episode, it was like a train wreck because we kept going, oh, but we couldn't turn away.
No.
So it's pretty intense. So I'm not recommending it necessarily for everybody.
It's not for everybody.
Definitely not going to be
for everybody. I mean, if you can't handle that type of stuff, then don't watch it. And by no means am I promoting it. I'm just saying that, we love it, and apparently there's a lot of y'all that love it since you're having a Game of Thrones knit along
with the Jimmy Dean's wool.
But it is a awesome little show, and I cannot. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see it tomorrow night because we'll be at my mother's.
Yes, tomorrow's Easter, and so we'll be traveling.
Easter, so we will have to record it, and then we'll probably stay up all night until we can watch it, and
then I'll be sleepy all day Monday.
Yeah, which that's normal.
Okay, so fitness.
That's why the headband's on, if you're wondering.
Yeah,
we are leaving here and headed to the gym.
Yes.
And I joined the gym in order to guilt Carolyn into going. I figured that would be the only way, and plus with me being in a wheelchair, I need upper body strength. And so I guilted Carolyn because I figured if I got up and said, I'm going to the gym, Carolyn would go also because she doesn't like me to be off by myself because I have been known to knock myself out and have to
fall
have to be helicoptered to another hospital. But so I figured I would join it in order to guilt Carolyn into going to the gym and getting fit, and also to help me with my upper body strength.
And it has worked well.
Yes, it's done very well.
We have gone quite a bit this week and are really enjoying it. We don't work out together.
No.
When we're there.
No. We don't do see each other.
No, yeah, we do very different things when we're there. Yes. But I realized I was having a lot of anxiety because I would be at the gym, but I'd be worried about, I'd been gone all day at work and she'd been home alone all day, and I wanted to get home. I was tired, and so I'd use her as an excuse for me needing to get home. Whereas if she meets me up at the gym, I don't have that as an excuse.
Right.
So I do it. And it has been very good. I lost 1 pound this week, but you haven't weighed yet again.
Well, it's very difficult for me to weigh being in a wheelchair.
Yeah. And we're going to talk more about that in a minute. But, so one of the other main things that we did to really promote our health this week is we both signed up for MyFitnessPal.
Yes.
And so I am callshirley@gmail.com if you want to friend me. A bunch of you already have. And Amy says that she is willing for y'all to friend her as well.
Mm-hmm. It's Amy D. Shirley.
D as in dog.
Right. Just it's Amy D. Shirley @gmail.com.
Mm-hmm. So
it's D, the letter.
The letter D.
Not D-E-E, just D.
You can always look at my friends list and find her.
You better.
Our first day at the gym.
Be able to find me on her friend list.
First day at the gym.
Not, we have problems.
I ran into one of my colleagues who Amy actually knew as well. And were you not shocked at the way he looked?
Oh, yes. God.
He had lost 60 pounds since the last time I had seen him 4 or 5 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Because I used to work in the same building on campus as him, and so I would see him on at least every other day basis. Well, now I'm in a completely different building with my new job, and so I hadn't seen him in a few months.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked into the gym. I did not recognize him. I could not tell that that's who that was. But he waved at me, and I thought, okay, well, maybe that is who that is. Well, he walked up afterward and visited with me and was telling me that him and his wife had been very hard working out on at the gym using MyFitnessPal, and that combined the two of them had lost over 100 pounds since the beginning of the year. Or maybe the last 4 months. I can't remember.
It's basically a competition. If you're a very competitive person, then, I mean, it's very good.
Yes, because if I complete my diary that day, then it's like, haha, you haven't done your diary that day. And I noticed that him and his wife were both competing. Like, I've lost my 5 pounds this week. Not 5 pounds, but, I've lost my weight this week. What about you? I've eaten good today. What about you? I'm under my calorie count. And so that's been, because Amy and I both we're very competitive with each other in terms of, okay, whoever guesses correct on, like, how much we're going to spend for groceries. I mean, just silly things, just to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll say, that's who has to cook dinner tonight, or that's who has to wash clothes tonight, or, just silly little bets like that. So this is a lot of fun. So we can kind of say, I was under my calorie count today, and you weren't.
Mm-hmm.
Though Amy's done better on that this week than I have. But lots of fun. We would love for any of you who would like to friend us on MyFitnessPal. That is our fitness recommendation for this week.
And we're headed to the gym
as soon as we finish podcasting. But the fitness is kind of why Amy wanted to be on the show today. While I asked her to be on the show, was because Amy wanted to talk about why she is in a wheelchair and talk about promoting support and awareness for her disease. So if any of you are interested in hearing about that, stay tuned. If not, then I will see you next week. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay. I have a disease called arachnoiditis. It has nothing to do with spiders. Everybody, whenever I tell them I have arachnoiditis, they're like, oh, you get bit by a spider. No, it has nothing to do with a spider. It is a spinal cord disease. I have not had it all my life. As of June this year, I will have been in a wheelchair for a year. I'm no longer capable of walking. The disease, basically in your spine, around your spinal cord, you have an arachnoid that covers it. It's a layer. It's supposed to look like a spider web, hence arachnoid. And it's supposed to be flimsy and white and all of that, where your cord, it protects your cord, but also, it makes your cord limber to where it will float around in your spinal fluid. However, my lumbar area, mine is black and decaying, and it's killing my spinal cord.
And the cord is attaching to it.
Right. And there are many nerves that do not work in my body. We don't know what nerves work, what nerves don't work. If you look it up, it will tell you that it's the most painful and most debilitating disease, spinal cord disease that you can have. That most people that have the disease would rather be paralyzed than have the disease, and they are correct. On a pain scale, I live at about an 8 every day. And there's no research being done on this disease. There's only one man, and his name is Dr. Aldrete, and he is at the University of Alabama, and he does research on arachnoiditis in order to try to figure out. There's no cure. It will kill you.
Isn't most of the research even having to be done out of country because he's trying to do stem cell research?
Yes, he's trying to do stem cell research, so most of the research is being done out of country. I, myself, was very active prior to this disease. I got the disease from having from having a coccygeal meningitis. I was injected with meningitis during a nerve block. And for all of you that are saying, oh, well, so you should have sued, I attempted to, but due to the new laws, I had to prove negligence, which I had to prove that the doctor knew that meningitis was in the medicine.
Which he,
Which, it's not going to be wrote down in the chart. Meningitis is in the medicine, but we're going to go on and stick it in her anyway. But, like I said, there's only about 1,500 people in the country that has it. There are support groups on Facebook that I am in. This disease is very depressing because some days you get up and you feel fine. Other days you just want to put a bullet through your head. It's just that type of disease. I'm lucky enough to have a partner that it was willing to take care of me when I need to be taken care of, and fly to the, get in the vehicle and drive 90 miles an hour to the hospital whenever I'm being helicoptered to the hospital. I've ripped toes off. I ripped my pinky toe off, and didn't even know.
That's because of the nerve damage. And
it's
she
the
can't
nerve
feel.
damage. I can't feel from the waist down. And so I go to the gym in order to help with, number one, it will help Carolyn get in shape. And I feel that if Carolyn gets in shape, a lot of her headaches will go away, help with her allergies. I believe that it will just an all around help Carolyn's fitness. And I want to help Carolyn in any way that I can because I can't work. So I feel that that's one way I can help Carolyn. Plus, getting out of the house, I go to the gym. I can get out of the house,
which helps you mentally.
Which helps me mentally. Which helps me, plus build up my arms, and plus I get to show off my lovely tattoos. And as you can see, I have a frog on this arm, and that's because Carolyn is scared of frogs. And
very supportive partner there.
So I put a frog on this arm. But recently, I took an initiative as I was reading on some of the support groups that we have that there is absolutely no research. Doctors don't even know about this disease. It is very upsetting whenever you're in a hospital and you tell the doctor that you have arachnoiditis, and he asks you what that is.
And that's our common experience. Every doctor we go to except our family doctor.
He goes and Googles it just to find out what it is. I can tell you right now, that it's not a disease I would wish on my worst enemy. But I want to bring awareness to this disease. There's only 2 people in Mississippi that had the disease. However, that man passed away, and so now it's just me. I got to be the lucky one that is in Mississippi with this disease. I have a blog that it's all ran together. It is Spider You Cannot Kill .blogspot.com.
And I'll link it on Rav.
Yes, and you can go to that blog, and I write about, I don't write every day. I try to write maybe every other day. But on there is a link for you if you would like to support, because all the money is going to go to Dr. Aldrete and his research. I have developed, since these are real big, you can see, as these
support wristbands.
Everybody has a support wristband except arachnoiditis. And so arachnoiditis is written on these support. I didn't mean to do that. That's not what I'm thinking. Sorry, I didn't mean to flip you off. But, it
has the word arachnoiditis.
Yes, it has arachnoiditis on it. And for those of you that may be wondering how it is spelled ARACHNOIDITIS. And that is the disease. And it has put me in a wheelchair. That's why every now and then, you've heard me talk about me being in a wheelchair. But Carolyn wanted me to
I just want to get the word out
get
there.
the word out. We want to get the word out that there is a disease that even doctors are not aware of, and that I happen to be one of the people that just got the disease. And so,
The symptoms are very similar to multiple sclerosis.
yes, yeah, they're very, very similar. And so it's all spinal cord. You don't know, like I said, you don't know what nerves it affects. Right now, I have a shunt that's in between my shoulder blades, but it helps the spinal fluid flow. When spinal fluid gathers up, it shoots the spinal fluid to my stomach. At first, I had one in my lung, but that didn't work out too well, and so they moved it to where it ran to my stomach.
Because when the arachnoid layer congeals around the cord, the fluid can't flow, and that's part of the reason that the nerves die is because they don't have the right amount of fluid.
Right, my lower lumbar, my lumbar area doesn't have fluid, and so that's why it's dying. And my head, in my head, I have too much fluid, and so because the fluid goes down, and when it comes back up, it just flows funny, and so my head has too much fluid in it, and my lower back has none in it. But we just wanted to get the word out and let you know that you can look on the blog, and if you want to support my cause, um, you can. And thank you for listening.
All right. And if y'all stay tuned through that, I really appreciate it. And I will see y'all all next week. Bye.
Have a good Easter.